What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And we've just come off the quarterfinals of the Hydra Clash with the content creators, and we're joined by Nub Raids, who managed to pull out a victory last night. How's it going, man?
Ooh, it's going well, it's going well. I'm absolutely exhausted today. I didn't get sleep, I think, until 3 in the morning. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I'm also relieved today. I'm more relaxed today now. I'm like, oh, I can breathe. Briefly before preparing for the next round.
Yeah. So did you celebrate in any way? Did you have a special coffee or something, or?
No.
No?
No, I went straight to bed.
That was
I was like, I'm exhausted. And then I was lying in bed and I'm like, my brain is wide awake because I had a coffee during the stream to power me up.
Yeah.
And then the caffeine, it had a toll on me. So,
I should have done that, man. I was there drinking water, dying for the toilet the whole time. but yeah, guys, on that note, we wanted to speak about champions that we feel like everybody should be maxing up at least one of on their account when you want to go into the Hydra boss, coming off the theme of the Hydra Clash. And it's going to be dedicated on provokers that provide more than just provoke, but extra utility in their kit to play multiple roles for your team. And that came into fruition, right, with all of our teams. Like, we're looking for specific things, whether that be decreased speed or a shield or a heal or just some form of value apart from just a provoke. And there is actually some very good highlights out there that might be in some players' votes and might be worth bringing them out, right, to get some love. So we've got a dedicated list here of some of the ones that we feel are the best in the game. But also, guys, if we do miss any of your favorites, let us know in the comment section or head over to hellhades.com to check out a full list of provokers in case you don't have any on the list today. But Mr. Nubby, do you want to kick us off here with our first one on this list?
Yeah, sure. It's a champion that Cold Brew drafted in, which was Bivald of the Thorn. Former Fusion champion, actually.
Straight away, bad with the factions.
Sacred Order, yeah, he's in Sacred Order.
He's Sacred Order, right?
You've got him, got him.
Oh my god, he had his hood on. He was hiding from me. I was like, what? He's like, I've been seeing too much last night on stream, man. Leave me alone. Still sleeping.
Yeah, look, Bivald, he's a brilliant provoker. He's got a provoke on his A2, and he places provokes even on weak hits. So no matter the affinity, no matter if there's a poison cloud, he can still place it. And that also brings a leech as well. His A1 can place provoke too. So you've got two good sources of provoke there. His A3 is a big smack that heals, puts out a big shield. So yeah, look, Bivald, he brings you a ton of healing between the leech and his A3, and his A1 heals too, actually. Tons and tons of healing. Lots of provoking as well. That's where that's basically what he does. Lots of healing, lots of shielding, even some decent damage. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool because he's one of the only champions that can do that through weak hits, which means that if you guys are struggling with Poison Cloud and you still want to control the Head of Decay, you're able to actually go through and still place that right so you can get back into your fight. So very good fusion, I think. That was very underrated at the time, for sure.
Yes, 100%. I mean, to be fair, they released the fusion and then they changed Hydra so it could be provoked like a month afterwards. It was like, man, why did you not at least tell us about that change before the fusion?
Was there not provoke at all at the start?
No, no, there's no provoke.
Oh, so he was just cleansing and you just had to deal with it.
Yeah, that's why Hydra was so hard. Oh man, that was the thing that made it hardest, because it was like there's a full cleanse and turn meter boost for those heads coming every few turns, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing. It was brutal. Yeah.
So just as we go into this next champion here, I guess that I just wanted to talk about, just in case anyone's new to Hydra, do you want to just explain how impactful not having a provoke and bringing in a provoke is for a Hydra boss team, especially when you're starting out, and why it's so good to have it?
Yeah, well, it's that Head of Decay that I was just talking about. He has two abilities. Number one, he can cleanse all debuffs off of all of the heads and also fills their turn meter, which is exceptionally nasty, right? Cleanses them off, they can get Poison Cloud on, and now you can't do anything. Yeah, it just completely ruins your strategies. You get an increased attack on Head of Wrath, and Head of Wrath suddenly becomes something that will absolutely murder your team. Yeah, and then he also has got the single target shield as well, which is that's so frustrating. I'm sure everyone who's tried Hydra will know the feeling of Head of Mischief eats somebody, and then Head of Decay is like, yo, Mischief, my dude, have a big old shield on top of that. And you're like, I can't free that person. It's not possible. So he's got two of the most nasty moves that you have to deal with there.
Yeah,
they're really tough. And Provoke totally stops it, which is huge. It makes your runs infinitely more consistent because now you can actually get your debuffs on the boss and keep them on. You can keep the block buffs, decrease speed, decrease attack, stuff as well, like decrease defense and weaken that give you damage too. So it makes a big difference.
Yep, and that was just me going in with an A1, guys. I was trying to showcase what the Provoke actually does, and then I went
Didn't land.
I went to hit Head of Suffering.
Oh, right. Oh, I see.
I clicked A1. I was like, I've been doing too much Hydra, man.
Yeah, right.
But just as a brief example, I was just going to show it once for you guys, just so you can see exactly what can happen. So right here, Head of Decay will remove all debuffs from all heads. So all of these things that you've set up is actually going to cleanse. And then you get that turn meter fill. They start cutting in, and then he puts that life barrier on, like you said. And it's a nasty time, man. But Bivald, who was actually the first champion we spoke about, Provoke is now on, and is very important because now all of these block buffs and all of our setup is now going to be completely fine once you see in this first phase here. Don't worry, guys. We're heading straight back to the champions after Inquisitor Shmuel takes 1,000 turns. Let's see a different head because he's just going crazy. So there we go. We've got a single target ability instead of the cleanse. So having multiple forms of this is going to be very impactful. But we'll save more Hydra for another day, I guess. Okay. So heading into my first champion is going to be a Khoronar, one that I'm actually using in the draft that everybody was kicking down. Like, I don't know why. Like, do you hate Khoronar? Or are you a fan of him? Or...
I think he's decent. Like, I don't think he's the best, but he's certainly not bad. I think he's a solid option.
Yeah, so actually speaking about Khoronar, and at the same time, I would actually mention the Provoke set as similar to having a champion, right? So champions that can do all AoE abilities, so area of effect. So just for an example with Khoronar, he's a prime example because all of his skills attack all enemies, right? Even right here, attacks all enemies. And this gives you a chance with the Provoke set to actually place Provokes by just hitting. And because Khoronar actually counterattacks whenever he's hit, there's always a great chance to do that. So where's Khoronar here? Let's have a quick look. Can you see him? The beastie boy? There he is.
I've got your screen really small. I can't see it all.
There you go. But a 30% chance to place a Provoke debuff. And if you think about all of the times that you're hitting with these AoE skills like Mighty Uko, for example, as well, there's just a great chance to keep that up, especially if they got Provoke in their kit, which is why I think Khoronar is one of the best for it. But away from the Provoke that he does, he actually brings in decreased attack for your team, decreased defense. He brings in mischief tanking with the block debuffs and increased defense. So if you build him with high resistance, you know exactly where your mischief tank is going. And then he's also got a way to counterattack if decreased attack, decreased defense, or decreased speed are on the targets, even if Manaya's not in the team. So you're always going to be going through, locking out Decay, makes it one of the best options in the game for sure.
Yep, he's pretty cool.
All right, so who we got next? It's actually a new fusion, a different fusion, right? Oh.
Yeah, Sigmund the highshield. Yeah, this is a really underrated champion, honestly. But yeah, Sigmund's brilliant. So he's got a Provoke on his A2, double hitter. Each hit has a chance to Provoke. So that's quite nice. It's a really good chance to Provoke. You add the two together. If he's the wrong affinity, he can still come in and have a pretty good chance. Also does AoE decrease attack. Then he has a Mithrala style shield here. Big shield and strengthen on your team. So ton of protection. Decrease attack, a shield, and a strengthen. It's like suddenly you're not going to get killed by these things. And then yeah, he has like buff stripping on his passive and his A1 as well, and he can do some all right damage. So yeah, I'm a really big fan of Sigmund. Like again, he's not like the best of the best, right? But he's such a solid champion for keeping your team running steady and stable. Yeah, this guy, he's cool. He's very, very underrated. Poor old Sigmund.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of people went for the fusion, but maybe if they could change anything for me, although I don't think he's bad at all, maybe just have first hit has a 100% chance to place Provoke, second hit has a 50% chance to place Provoke for 2 turns. And then so that way there's like a chance. You see how like Maulie is, it places 1 or twice. I think there should be a very similar mechanic here in the A2, and I think he'll be used a lot more, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of like how he is. Maybe just up the chance of his passive or something, and I'd be like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, just reduce all those cooldowns, right, of those skills. It's actually very impactful.
The buffs, yeah.
Okay, one that you actually switched out for, Maulie Tankard, available from the Guardian Ring by sacrificing like 6 champions with life tokens.
Yep.
Very cool champion, right? Like to lock out for was it up to 2 turns or 50% chance for 2 turns? It's a lot, man. Like thinking about locking out on a 3-turn cooldown, cycling through. Do you build it with reflex? Is that how you build yours? Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So you want to build it. It's a bit stat intensive, but I'm slightly in the way. Yeah, sorry, this way. Yeah. You can see she has insane base resistance, 80 base resist, 107 base speed. So the way to build her, I might actually do a whole video showing her off. I think you build her with like good speed, reflex set. Reflex set reduces her cooldowns, and in my run, I did not have increased speed. And on Brutal Hydra, she was still able to permanently keep the Head of Decay provoked the whole way through, which is nuts. So good. Then she also brings a revive. She has a big turn meter boost on her passive as well. Like Maulie is, in my opinion, like one of the probably top 3 provokers or something in this. Like she's definitely the best of the ones we've mentioned so far. Yeah. She's like a step above them. She's exceptionally good.
Yeah, I used her in my team, like I was mentioning to you over on your channel. By the way, guys, if you want to go check out a collab over on Nub Raids channel, quick plug. We broke down the draft, I guess, and how the quarterfinals went and how we feel like everything else is going. But I did actually bring Maulie tankard into my team, but I think it's situational with her, because if you don't feel like you need it, right, for the 2-turn provoke, then she doesn't actually deal any damage, because in my team, my team is built not to die. I'm only built to die to digestion from when I'm being eaten. So her revive basically comes void, right? But if you are banking on revives, this is a phenomenal champion. And even the A1, I'm not sure how much it deals, because that's quite a big increase on multiplier. Have you tried out her damage potential with the A1, or never had a crack at it?
No, like she does hit pretty hard. I actually ran her in crit rate gloves at the start, and she does hit pretty hard, but I was like, it doesn't add up to much, because she's doing her A2 on a lot of the different turns. I also forgot to mention the A2 does give reflect damage, so she mischief tanks as well. Ooh, so you get basically fully locks out the counters Head of Decay 100%. Pretty much, not quite 100% counters Head of Mischief, but pretty close. Like she counters them in a pretty big way. But it's not perfect, right? You're going to need block buffs, but you got a block buff champ in there. She's going to do the job. And yeah, brings revive too. So yeah, she's, yep.
Yeah. Another reason I couldn't use her is I couldn't get 2 swaps. I'd have had to ditch the Skrank, who I wanted to bring in.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had to swap out Walking Team Dreng, right? So it was like, it's all good. Okay, next one. Do you know, I'm going to lay you back-to-back picks here, because you actually have this champion. I don't want to talk about someone I don't have.
Oh,
Krisk the Ageless. How amazing is this champion for Hydra?
Speaking of best provokers,
yeah,
there's Krisk. Yeah, Krisk is nuts. Oh, I remembered. We forgot Graazur. Stick Graazur in next. You can talk about him.
Yeah, we'll put him next.
He's the new one. We forgot to put him on the list. Yeah. But yeah, Krisk, he comes in. AoE provoke on a 3-turn. Increase defense on himself and speed on your team. So funny enough, if you bring an increased speed champion like a Lydia or something as well, it actually, the increased defense buff, if you don't have that, helps them to mischief tank. But his A2 almost helps him mischief tank just by itself. 2 continuous heals on himself, ally protection on everybody else, and extends all of your buffs. So that is such an insane move. His passive, obviously putting out the decreased defense and decreased attack, and he's got AoE decreased speed A1, as if the rest wasn't enough.
Oh, he's so broken. Every time I read it, I'm just like, oh my, I forget how good he is until I reread it again.
Man. Yeah, like this guy, he's just stacked. So like, he's not enough to provoke on his own. Like Maulie can provoke on her own entirely. He's not enough to do it. You're going to need to bring somebody else in.
Is he not one of, would you put him as a candidate like Khoronar to put in a provoke set? Is that how people build him, or?
You could. I do find it a little bit trickier with him now, because I'm probably citing the way. He does have really good base stats as well, but it's not as good as Maulie. And like, you're going to need, you need to have you need like 500 resistance to mischief tank. For Nightmare, you need 400 accuracy. Yeah. You're probably going to want like 250 speed. So we do have the area bonuses now helping with that, but you need a lot of stats. And then Krisk, because of his ally protection, he actually needs to be very tanky to not die. Because if he dies, it's real bad.
Yeah.
Now, it's easy to build him tanky in a sense, but he needs a lot of stats.
It's true.
So reflex, provoke set. You could totally run him in a provoke set. I've seen people run him in like frenzy set and stuff too. Like you can do other stuff, but it can be difficult to hit the stats.
Especially in the higher thresholds, right? But maybe early game, if you happen to be like lockers from the free-to-play series, you pull a Krisk in like 2 days, then if you're starting Hydra on normal or something, could be an option, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so actually speaking about the champion you just mentioned, which faction is he in again? Ogren's, right?
Yeah.
Graazur. Now this dude probably some people do have him. 13 ratings. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So Graazur is actually a phenomenal champion, because he very similar to the Krisk and everyone else on this list. YST, provoke. Wake up. Let none pass. Provoke 100% chance of increased resistance and increased defense, which is phenomenal. Allows you to alleviate some of those stats with that increased resistance. Very strong. We then got the max HP abilities. It's just like, how broken do you want a champion to be, Raid? Heals this champion as well on top of that. And all skills are AoE. He's got a shield here as well. And a passive that whenever he's attacked will actually heal allies except himself of the damage received, and 35% against bosses. And this effect has no cooldown, which is very similar to like the passive of Vogoth. So he's like the legendary variation being 70%. And then also places that unkillable buff on himself upon fatal hits in case like Head of Wrath wipes him out, right? And he can just survive. So
yeah.
Very, very strong kit, actually. And I was playtesting him, just dreaming. Can I just slip him into the Hydra challenge and no one will see a big beast on the battlefield? But yeah, he's good, man. Do you want this dude? You want him, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. This guy is absolutely nuts. His passive, actually, the unkillable is quite good in Hydra because you can get reflect damage on Wrath or Suffering, right? And Graazur will just one-shot himself with his A2 because it's an enemy max HP nuke. Like, that's the big thing he brings. It's like... if you think about him versus like a Husk, who we're going to mention, I think, very soon, actually, on the list, like Graazur, he's Void, and he has the max HP nuke on a 3-turn cooldown. Like, that's so good. Yeah, then he's extending buffs. He's got Provoke on a 3-turn. Yeah, he's a monster. He's so good.
So good. He's more of like just a strong PvE champion, right? Not for like PvP. Yeah. He can do some of it. Like, I've seen some quirky stuff. I think MacChan put a video out with him in Arena.
Yeah, I actually haven't gotten around to watching that yet. I must do.
It's interesting.
I'm skeptical about how good he'll be there. It seems like a waste. You should build him for Hydra, but I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't say. I shouldn't say.
Next up, which faction? You have to help me here.
Kantra is Barbarians.
I was there as well.
You were right there.
Oh, there she is. I actually wish I had this champion, to be honest.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
So, actually, this is actually your turn. Do you want to break down Kantra, I guess?
Wait, is it?
I took on Graazur.
oh, yeah, sure. All right, cool. So Kantra. Yeah, look, Kantra is amazing. Her passive, she has a really good chance to provoke every single time she takes a turn with her passive. That's why it's so good. You need enough debuffs out there, but that's definitely something you can do. And she becomes actually super consistent, especially with good speed. Then she's got the triple hit AoE that can put out a whole bunch of debuffs, so she can fill in your debuffs. I think she can steal buffs on her A1. I think she places debuffs on weak hits as well, which is really, really good with the passive. Yeah, places debuffs on weak hits. So yeah, she's just a great debuffer to fill a lot of those slots in, and very consistent provoker. So if you're trying to build like an auto-friendly Hydra team, she's one of the best options to put in there. You just get her in like a team, like Lydia is a perfect combo, for example, right? Lydia, increase speed on Kantra, get her taking turns, decrease speed and weaken. You can slap on like whatever the block buffs, poison sensitivity from Lydia on Head of Decay, and you're like, man, debuffs galore. Kantra's gonna land the provoke. We're good. Yeah, she's very, very, very good.
Yeah, everyone looked at her like she was so trash, right, when she came out. And then when Hydra came out, it was just, boom, value surge. Straight through the roof.
Yeah, she came out like right before, I think pretty soon before I started playing, actually.
Oh, really? When did you actually start playing? Not content creation, just like actually downloaded Raid?
About 2.5 years ago. I think it was September 2021, maybe.
Which fusion was on then? Was it the?
It was like Elegias, I think, was when I joined.
Oh, so you came on the spooky time. You came for Halloween.
Like Dracghoul, Elegias, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It's around there, yeah.
All right, so next one's going to be Mr. Husk. Now, this is somebody that I use in my main team. And he's very strong, man, because he does have that provoke A1, but just like the Graazur, he brings in enemy max HP nukes. And I build this dude in Reflex. I think Relentless is a great option as well, because you can actually have a chance to do the AoE, then lead in with the A1. But overall, it's just a powerhouse of an epic. And I looked at him as the worst max HP nuker personally before Hydra came out. And now he's become my favorite one over Royal Guard. Like, I really love this dude. But the reason being is, if you just want to swing your head a tiny bit there. The other way. He's very tanky with HP, right? And being a HP-based champion, he's not going to be dying every day. And are you okay there? You can come back out the closet now. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, my God. This guy, what he made of, man.
Yeah, Husk is great. He's so good. Yeah, bring in the provoke. Yeah, I love running Husk with Krisk, right? And then the two of them together, it's all the provokes you need and all the damage. Why are you putting me on his belly? Oh, on his face? Oh my God. That's very hurtful. That's very
swing your arms about, your shoulders. Look at you, you're going.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to look back at this and regret you doing that.
I know. That's a GIF waiting to happen.
I'm gonna upload that onto Discord. Everyone's gonna use it.
Oh, no.
All right, who we got next to?
Skullord Vargall.
Is that how you say it?
No.
Oh, you just
no.
being fancy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where is he? There he is. Do you remember this guy's fusion? Like how you used to get him?
Well, no, I wasn't playing at the time.
Oh, so that's why I wanted. So Skullord Vargall back then, it was. Do you know the Skull Swan stage in campaign?
Yeah.
It was literally 16 Skull Swans, and you just had to farm campaign all of the time.
It's obviously a tedious grind as well, right? But I think it's an odd, that's just a different sort of event. Mix it up a bit instead of fusion, fragment.
Yeah.
Throw in something derpy like that every once in a while just to mix it up.
Just fight campaign stages, man. It was brutal.
Yeah,
though. I was farming thousands and thousands. It was because what it is, the worst part of it is like when you're farming the rares, you don't have to farm up the rares to turn them into the fusion.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a double grind, but you can farm them up while you're farming more in a sense. So.
He's got Provoke on a 2-turn, which is brilliant. Gives himself strength in 2, so he can Mischief Tank as well, which is nice. There's a few champions here that can do the Provoke and Mischief Tank at the same time. Then he's AoE decrease attack as well, which is, again, very helpful. So, yeah, but he's very consistent. Look at his base stats, too. Like, he has the most insane base stats out of any champ in the game. Like, it's unbelievable how stacked he is. So he's very easy to build, too. So, yeah, again, it's just 2-turn cooldown Provoke. Brilliant, fantastic, Mischief Tank.
I wonder if attack. Let us know, guys. Does anyone use him in live arena just to annoy people? Like, just some tanky one, and his passive he keeps reviving Skull Swans as well, right? So it's someone's probably got like some unstoppable Skullord Vargall in Stone Skin, and he's just reviving Skull Swans. Oh, that'll be funny, man. I hate to see that.
4 Skull Lords and bolster set, make it happen.
Oh my god! And just a constant provokes on 2 turns and reflex.
Yeah. Oh, it's so dumb.
All right, I need some more Skull Swans. I want to build that team. That'll be funny. All right, so next up's going to be in the Dark Elves. It's actually a free champion. Miss Visix The Unbowed, and I love this chick, man. Very, very strong. She does have a AoE provoke. She has a shield as well for protection on a 3-turn cooldown. She's got AoE decreased speed and ally protection. 2 very crucial things for the Hydra, especially if you want to sustain when you're progressing with the ally protection. And then we've also got 10 meter fills, which is not going to do anything for the Hydra boss, but it also fills this champion as well, but you can't lose anything, so basically waste of time. But yeah, still, when you're first going into the Hydra, I think this is one of the best introductions to Hydra in the game. Just simple but effective, right? Easy to use and good cooldowns. Can't complain with her.
She's extremely good, right? Decreased speed is actually, I can tell you from doing the Hydra draft, decreased speed is actually quite hard to get, like a good decreased speed champion. And you get Visix for free. And she brings Provoke too. One of my favorite combos, a nice budget combo for anyone, well, someone who's watching this that's been playing for a little while. Razzlevarg brings increased speed and leech. The leech helps Visix stay alive. She brings decreased speed, so you got increased speed, decreased speed covered. They both do decent damage. She helps them stay alive even. Throw in something like a Rector Drath then to protect you from torment and revive Visix if she does die from the ally protection. And boom, you've got yourself like the basis, the core of a really good Hydra team right there. Throw in something like an Ugo or whatever, some block buff, some decreased defense, and there you go. You're going to smash through. Like, I've seen people use Visix on Brutal. I think even Nightmare. Like, she's very, very, very good. Very underrated. Another underrated champ.
It's really cool that she's free as well and being tanky. Yeah. Do you think, is she enough to do it by herself, do you think, on that 3-turn cooldown? Oops.
No. I don't really think any of the 3-turn cooldowns. Maybe with like reflex set and like good stats or relentless and good stats and stuff, but there's downsides to it as well, and it can be difficult to get the stats, so it depends. But if you're just going in just raw 3-turn cooldown, 1-turn provoke, unless you're way out gearing a difficulty, it's not enough. No.
Yeah. Okay, who we got next? We got a big boy now, right?
Oh yeah, Iron Brago. It's a pretty cool, fairly budget option, but a solid one, right? Brings increased defense as well on a 3-turn cooldown and a 3-turn buff. So basically full coverage of increased defense for your team. And the passive gives you a bunch of defense as well. So it just makes your team a lot tankier. And then the A3 ability is the AoE with Provoke. It's not 100% chance, but it's pretty high. and then decrease attack as well, which is really good. So he's making your team very survivable, and he's got a decent source of provoke. So yeah, he's not the best. He can't do it on his own, but he's a good supplement to put in there and help you again tank through, and basically makes Head of Wrath nowhere near as scary as he is for a lot of people when you first step into Hydra. He's like, yeah, Head of Wrath, head of Schmath. I don't know. I don't care about this head. Yeah.
That is really good. He was a fusion as well. I think he was one of the first. I think I spoke about him in my first ever YouTube video, and I thought that he dropped with King Garrog, and I thought that King Garrog was going to be the fusion. So I basically got my first patch notes video completely wrong. Drexhar bloodtwin's available through fragments from the... Oh, I keep getting mixed up. It's the Bazaar, right? Not the clan shop. I get mixed up with the two sometimes. But a Burning Lash has an AoE provoke chance. The chance is this chance is increased to 100% target if the target is under burn. So I don't know. Do you find it's very consistent if you don't have any other burn options? Let's just say hypothetically, right? You're going into the Hydra. How valuable is this? Because the passive does burn, right? But it takes a few turns to get into that rhythm to have that 100%. So maybe pair him with someone else as well, or.
So I actually love pairing him with one of the. We've got a champion later on. I could talk about him next, actually, if you want.
Okay.
But I think it's a really good pairing with Jizoh, who's the epic lizardman. We'll talk about him in a second.
Yeah.
I find Drexhar, like, because he can place burn on his A1. That he can get a couple of hits in on the Head of Decay, and he has a decent enough chance like to get the revoke out. He can't do it turn one unless you're running crazy speed, like you have to land the burn and then do his A2. So it's like more of a second round provoke.
It requires a bit of a setup, but once you've got that setup in progress, then you can actually it's actually very consistent after that. So he's I was going to say, even paired with maybe a Visix, if you're talking about two free-to-play options, open up with Visix The Unbowed, then do the A1 with Drexhar bloodtwin and burn the Head of Decay, and then boom, you can follow him with the next second cycle, right? So
yeah. But yeah, he's a great budget option because everyone gets him very early on, and like the burns is just going to help you do a lot of damage.
It's all battles as well. That's a great aura for Hydra as well.
Yeah.
Very good.
He can mischief tank too. It's a little tricky, but Jizoh helps. Hey, Jizoh.
So we're going into Jizoh next, right?
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe this one, man. Do you know what? I hate Jizoh, right? I hate him with a passion, but I'm starting to stop hating him a little bit because he sounds like Optimus Prime in Call of the Arbiter.
Does he?
Have you not seen it? Do you know when they did the trailer? He was like...
Yeah, I've forgotten
I'm not even going to repeat it because I'm going to make myself sound stupid.
Why would I trust a human?
I'm looking forward to the Jizoh episode. Excellent.
I can't wait. I'm going to send you the link after this and then...
Okay. Well, this guy's great. So he has a provoke on a 2-turn, and that's guaranteed. Now, it does have a long cooldown 4-turn, but pretty great. He gives himself a continuous heal as well. And on his A2, right, he puts a shield and counterattack on a target ally with an extra turn. So if you have enough gear, now you get this guy like, what is it, 1 week or 2 weeks into the game or something? You get him super early.
24 hours, he's there chilling.
And nearly everyone feeds him. But if you hold on to him, eventually you'll have enough gear to make him really good. He can mischief tank for you and also provoke at the same time. You just put the buff on himself. If that's not possible with your gear, because it's very gear intensive, like I said, he's actually great with Drexhar. Like you put him in and Jizoh does his 2-turn thing, and then he puts counterattack on Drexhar, and then suddenly Drexhar, he's going to burn with his passive, then he's going to counterattack, and he's got another chance at burning his A1. So you got a great source of burn. Drexhar with his passive is very easy to build to mischief tank. So Drexhar can mischief tank. It's easier to get the stats on him. And then with more burns out from Drexhar, you got the better chance then for Drexhar to provoke. And it's a nice little combo that's very, obviously, extremely accessible. Like you get both champions very early on. You just might not have the gear to use it straight away.
I know you're proud of that combo there, saying that. I could just vision that. That's so you put so you're saying put high resistance on Drexhar, then you force the counterattack onto Drexhar bloodtwin, and then he becomes the mischief tank, and then he counterattacks, uses his A1, burns everybody. That's a really good strategy for early game. Look at that. Big IQ there coming out from Rubbernades.
Rubbernades.
That's actually very strong. I would have never thought of something like that.
Rub your nades and you're going to Jizoh everywhere.
Next up, we're going to be going into Soulless. Somebody else who's actually used from... Who used him? Odd One.
Yeah, Odd One. Odd One did, yeah.
It was Odd One, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So he's one of those champions that could play the role of a DPS and a provoker, which I'm a huge fan of. And he's got attacks 3 times at random. Each has a chance to remove all buffs, which is very impactful. Also has a chance of placing a provoke if a buff was removed by this skill. Cannot be resisted. I've never seen that before. But that's very impactful, man. Yeah. And then also, this is kind of useless. Attacks all enemies increase the duration of all debuffs on each target by 1 turn. Then places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn after that. So he's actually got 2 forms of provoke in 2 different abilities. Do you know what? I always thought it was a different kit to that. I knew he was very good.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than I thought it was. Wow. Okay.
He's very good. Yeah, I think this guy's one of the top ones. Like, he's great.
Yeah.
He's really, really solid. Yeah, just extending those debuffs can have such a huge impact to make stuff more impactful. Like, Odd One had a really cool team where he had Sissia, right, exploding HP burns.
And he was extending it.
Yeah, he had Soulless extending them so that you would still have the burns up, that Sissia could always get the full value from her A2 with that. Yeah, so really cool combo. And yeah, like the debuff removal is quite nifty to have as a backup as well. It can be a little unreliable, I suppose, to remove the buffs because it hits at random, but it will always hit the person that you target, I think. So it will always hit Decay. So yeah, two provokes is can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I really like him. Like, he's very strong in arena as well. That's kind of what he's known for. But very good for Hydra. I'd actually really want this dude. His faction was. I wish this was all battles. That'd be really
yeah, it would be better.
Be really good. All right, so next up, we're getting into the last few here, guys. I know there's going to be one guy with popcorn. Can I have one? Thank you. What do you like, sweet or salty?
I like both. I actually like both. Yeah.
You're one of those mixture guys.
Well, not at the same time, but
but when you go to the cinema and they ask you sweet or salty, right? Are you getting the mixture, or are you just having one or the other?
No, for the cinema, I just have just butter popcorn. Dirty cinema buttery popcorn.
Just nothing, no sweet on it, nothing.
Well, salt, no, like salt and butter, yeah.
Oh, so you're a salty guy then. You're salty.
Yeah. Well, we're in Ireland, like we don't have this fancy stuff, but yeah, no, I do like it.
It's not really fancy, it's just sugar or salt.
Yeah, you don't have that option. You just have popcorn, which is butter and salt. That's it. That's all you get. But I do like caramel popcorn too.
Oh my god, I don't know which cinema you're going into, bro. But yeah, Nari the Lucky, off topic, I don't know why I'm talking about popcorn. Do you know what I just noticed? I love Nari the Lucky, right? What on earth is on his... He's got a hand on it. Look.
Yeah. That's his nade rubbing hand right there.
Oh my god. This guy, have you got this champion?
I do, yeah.
He's Irish, right? Yeah, he's got the...
Yeah, he's really leprechaun themed, isn't he? Yeah. You're just admiring. I was like, are we going anywhere with this?
I was
like, leave me hanging there.
I tried to do one Scratch did to us in the Hydra challenge and just be quiet, and you just sitting there thinking, I was trying to throw you off there. Okay. Basically, with the irresistible wealth, he does an AoE provoke, and he also places a counterattack on himself, which can actually be used as a mischief tank, right? Very similar to the Jizoh and stuff. And it pairs very well because on his A1, he can actually go through and have a chance to steal random buffs back from the target. And that's actually very good as well. So if you manage to get stolen from Head of Mischief, he spreads it out. You can go through that counterattack and high resistance and potentially steal some of those back. He's also got a decreased accuracy and decreased resistance, which is pretty rare for one champion in a single skill. Makes you to have less resistance on your champions and less accuracy as well. And then with the Joyful Song, he actually has a way of transferring random buffs from enemies to random allies. So it's a way of getting some of those buffs back as well. So overall, I think he's a very strong option for players out there.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. You're famous for saying that he's like one of the most underrated fusions we ever had. I actually totally agree.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for so long. There's so many champions that I've just been waiting for a higher difficulty of Hydra where increased accuracy, decreased resistance, those sort of things become more important. Because like at the moment, like a lot of us our teams are already built. Like we don't need to change them up. But when higher difficulties of Hydra eventually come, that stuff is going to become more important because you might not have the stats to take it down otherwise. And Nari doesn't he have decreased accuracy and decreased resistance? What does he do?
Decreased accuracy, decreased resistance, 100% chance
Yeah, like that's real nice. That is really nice. So
I don't know why everybody underestimates. Like I've said it so many times,
yeah.
like you said, it's like this one skill can literally help so many players in Hydra if you can't reach the stats on all of your champions, because it basically cuts everything in half. You don't need half the accuracy, you don't need half the resistance. So
yeah,
and he places provoke, so it is a very good champion.
Yeah, he's very, very underrated, like you said.
Yeah. All right, so who we got next here?
Next up is Warchief. I hate this guy, but people love him. We have to pick him.
Where is he again?
Is he an orc? I think he's an orc.
I think he's an orc. Where is he? Warchief?
He's a skinwalker.
Oh, he is a skinwalker.
Yeah.
What animal is he? Wait, I can't remember, Wait, I still can't see him. Oh, there he is.
Is he not? There he is.
Oh.
He's a warthog or something.
Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, he looks sick.
He's a pretty cool looking champ, but he's garbage.
Yeah, it's the thing that, like, all right, did I explain, like...
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
There's not much to explain anyway.
No, there's really not. But look, simple enough. 0 books, 3-turn provoke, 3-turn cooldown. He gets provoke up all the time. That's it. Done. That's it. He can provoke on his other skills, but you don't even need it. So look, you just slap him into Hydra, no books required, and he just provokes Head of Decay all the time. Now, like, I think you compare him to Maulie tankard, who provokes all the time, but also mischief tanks, also has a revive, also has crazy turn meter boost. He's nowhere near as good, right? But he does 3-turn provoke and a 3-turn cooldown. So
yeah, so basically, if that's all you need is to lock out the Head of Decay, Warchief is that dude. He will literally just, don't worry about it, guys. We put it up, we're good to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so
he needs a buff though. Please buff him.
What would you like to see done to him, actually?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
A form of self buff or mischief tanking, maybe, would be good enough.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah.
Okay, down to the final 2. We've got a Seeker, traditionally known for Clan Boss and Arena, very strong champion, but he does actually have a form of Provoke on his A1 skill, but it's not all he does. Although it's not 100% chance, it's pretty decent. And then with the Tailwind, there's a 3-turn cooldown, increase attack and increase turn meter, and grants an extra turn. So if you just consistently pop this out alongside this, you're going to have no problem keeping that out, especially if he's going pretty fast with high accuracy. So a good option out there for players that's built for Clan Boss maybe, and you might already have some accuracy on potentially. Could be someone else to fit into your 2nd or 3rd Hydra Boss teams, right?
Yeah, he's brilliant. I think he's a fantastic budget option. He's just an epic. So much turn meter. The increased attack is really useful, especially for lower difficulties, where like you put that on a nuker, like a Rhonda or something, and that increased attack, boom, you're great. It's really, really good. But yeah, he's very consistent at provoking. Affinity is the main issue, I think, but apart from that, he's good.
So, all right, we're down to the final one, and it's the only one that I don't have on my accounts. You like this dude. Guy. Have you got him on your account yet?
Yes.
He's the only one. I think there's like 3 epics in the game, apart from the new ones that I don't have, and he's one of them. So what makes him so good here?
So he's solid. So he's another mischief tank and provoker. So his A3 AoE provoke puts counterattack and a continuous heal on himself. So 2 buffs, right? 2 buffs makes it easy to make him a mischief tanker. Blood shield accessory at the counterattack makes it very easy again to mischief tank, and again it's a consistent provoke. Then he also has AoE decrease attack, I believe, on his A2. Yeah, AoE decrease attack. It's not 100%, but it's decent. It can lower enemy buffs a little bit as well, which is nice. Then his A1, I think, does nothing for Hydra, but it's good elsewhere. Yeah, nothing for Hydra. But look, I mean, basically, really solid, easy to build mischief tank with a reliable 3-turn provoke. It's simple, it's straightforward. For an epic, especially, it's very, very, very good. And a decreased attack as well. Like, there's a lot in this kit that's super helpful for Hydra.
Yeah.
So,
Ash really likes this dude, and I really want to play with him. I think when we had the test server access, I just didn't have the chance to try him out. But in hindsight, he's one of the best epic champions in the game, I think, for Hydra. He's very, very good, I think.
Yep, he is great.
Just trying to see if there's any... That turn meter feel, man, it's nice.
Yeah. So he's interesting, right? Because some mischief tanks, you could just build them super slow so that they just keep all the buffs on. With him, you want to, like, typically with him and like Krisk and stuff, you want to build them kind of fast because they want to get turns to provoke. Probably the case for nearly all of the ones we talked about today.
Yeah.
But like he's so solid with the 2 buffs that he can still mischief tank pretty reliably anyway. So yeah. It's great.
So just to end off here, guys, that was the official list. I'm going to put up Nub Raid's favorite champion in the game, Angar.
Angar.
Do you know what? To make it even worse, here we go.
Oh no! Oh, I'd rather be Husk. Oh, at least I'd be good.
Oh, look at that. Fancy.
Ah.
New.
Yeah, there's one guy watching, and his two favorite champs are Warchief and Angar, and he has flipped his desk. He's so mad. I'm his least favorite content creator now.
The first two Legos was Angar and
yeah,
Warchief.
he's disliking every one of my videos right now. He's like, I hate you so much.
But yeah, I'm not even going to speak about him. He does provokes, guys. He's pretty decent, but it's not the best. But yeah, Nubs, thank you so much for coming on the channel today. I appreciate your time and all of that good stuff. Anything you want to say here before the semi-finals kicks off for the Hydra Clash?
No, but I think it could be fun if we end up fighting each other in the finals, and if we do, and I win, you're forfeit. You got to rub my nades, boy.
Oh God!
Yeah, rub my nades.
Oh no, man! Do you know what? I think we should set a bet, right? All right, let's do a little side bet here. So
yeah,
I'm trying to think of what we could do here. So let's see, out of between me and you, can get the highest damage in the semifinals.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. Okay.
Let's see who can push the limit, because I think we're very similar in terms of what we can push in terms of damage numbers. So I think it'll be pretty cool. And I don't know, what should the forfeit be? Could be making bets at the end of this video here.
Yeah, the comment section should pick a forfeit for us. What could possibly go wrong?
Guys, let us know in the comment section what you think. I'm going to choose probably the worst one there. And or if I lose, then obviously I'm going to choose the best one, but we'll see. And yeah, let us know. It'll be a little fun side bet. I always put up these side bets during these challenges with like Deadwood and stuff. So let's see. The fight is on. So you got 2 fights on Monday.
Yeah, I think all of the semi. Yeah, it's all on Monday.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have to fight me now as well because you're trying to beat me at the same time.
That's true, yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy today's random video which was supposed to be very informative, hopefully it was. I was speaking about these provokers and
Extremely.
A lot of rub nades going on. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and also head over to Nub Raids channel for part 2 of this collab, which might have been eventful as well. I actually can't remember if we cracked any crazy jokes in that one. And
we were just completely deadpan the whole way through. We were the most depressing collab ever. It will make you cry.